Hi everybody, let's learn how I annotate my books and make notes Cornell style. Why take notes Cornell style? Well, it helps me reflect, it helps me retain, and it helps for book reviews. So let's go ahead and dive into chapter 1 of Lady in Waiting. Good morning everybody. Welcome to the second part of my annotating Lady in Waiting, Becoming God's Best While Waiting for Mr. Right by Jackie Kendall and Debbie Jones. The first part I showed you guys how I set up my book, which is with the tabs, and then I created a key to show what each symbol stands for and the color coding for my book. And I'm just going to do a quick flip through of what it looks like. I have completed chapter 1, and it has just some sticky notes in here. And as you can see, I just highlighted according to what I want it to stand for. So for example, for strong key points, for good key points, and then things that I need to understand. And so that's how I did my highlighting. Of course, the orange is in for questions that are asked. The yellow is for things that the book says, for something for us to do. The blue is scripture references. And then I take notes along the edges of it. If there's key things or certain word that can describe what I read, I write it in bold. So I have a lot of things here. So then here I just took some notes. It was very powerful. I had side notes, all the questions, scripture references here. So as you can see, it says breaking chains. And I just wrote the notes here on the side. Then same thing, words that I wanted to define, I defined them in green. Again, each section is underlined in red because that's how I write it, the notes in my notebook. And then anything that just stuck out to me that I wanted to underline. Here you have a lot of questions that it was asking, so I put question marks so that I can answer them. And then of course, just again continuing to highlight my book accordingly. So again, you can come up with any color coding system that you like. You can create your key using different symbols, things like that. So this is how it came out. Again, I had scripture references and things of that sort. So that is what chapter 1 looks like in my book, and I wanted to complete it with showing you guys my notebook and how I took notes. So again, this is a notebook that I got from Walmart. It is by Mary Beth, and it costs about $1.50, maybe less than that. So in my book, I created a title page, the date I started, and then it just has the title and the authors, and then I just put butterflies on it. So the way I do my note taking is I also use the Cornell style of note taking. So you have the smaller left side column and then your larger column on the right. And then again, you only put key things in the left side and then the more in-depth notes on the inside right column. And then you just title your sections with, and I put the 1 here for chapter 1 so I know. And then I just began to go through each section and write notes according to the book, and I just go down in order according to what I want in my book. And the reason why I put my notes in notebook is because for book reviews or book discussions and things like that, it's easier for me to pick out my keynotes and things like that that stand out to me. So this is just all the notes that I had taken from the book. I wrote down the questions that were in the books for me to go back and answer. Any scripture references, I looked in more in depth into them. And then of course I used sticky notes here for anything else that I have may have found. I wrote questions according to what I was reading and the references. So I just continued to go through each section in the book, and I just started writing down out my notes, questions that I may have and want to answer later on, things to think about. So I wrote it down. Anything that I wanted to break down more. So this one was new faith, building a new faith in God, learning to put God first in all that I can do, pray daily, devotional daily, Bible study daily, scheduled prayer, spontaneous prayer, which came from the battle plan for prayer, something that I had learned in there that I'm trying to apply more into my life. Of course, for Bible study, I'm doing the Chronological Bible Study. I'm doing morning and evening devotionals, and then learning to write my prayers down and keep track of when God answered prayers, whether it be yes or no, or if I'm still waiting for an answer or some clarity from it. And then again, some more questions. And then that's what I do. I just continue to read through the scripture references. I look through my study Bibles to see what they say. You always title your pages. I put the ones on there so I know that it's still chapter 1 in the book. And then at the end, there was a lot of questions for you to ponder on. So I have all those here. And then again, this is where it starts, chapter 1 questions here. And so you have chapter 1 questions. Now the questions in the after the chapter is different than the questions in the study guide. Let me see if I can turn to that real quick. I think it's right here. Yes. So the questions in the back study guide is a lot more in depth. And if you are part of my Facebook group, I do have this available in PDF form. If you don't have the study guide and the meditation journal for this book, and if you're reading this book, or if you may want it eventually, this book is very good. We are reading it and discussing it. We are launching our launch party for August, and we are going to be reading the book Tuesday through Saturday, and then Monday having a Zoom discussion on it. So if you want more information on that, just comment below and I can email you more information on that. So here's the first question. I'm just going to show you the first question and how I answer the questions. So here I wrote the question on the side, and then I began to answer it. So the question is, what is the difference between token commitment and reckless abandonment to Jesus? Is your relationship with Jesus one of sacrifice or convenience? And I just put token commitment, doing things when it's convenient, playing or acting half-heartedly or without enthusiasm. Reckless abandonment, praying through the good, the bad, and the ugly, approaching what is at hand without consideration of consequences, going all out. The scripture reference that it said to read was 2 Samuel chapter 24 verse 24. And then I went more into reckless abandonment, following Jesus through the places of suffering and discomfort. We must really follow God unto risk and sacrifice for the sake of his word, and through it all know that he will be there to comfort us, lead us through, and to redeem us when he finally comes to judge the world once again. And then I have a reference here, 1 Peter all of chapter 4 and 5. And then I have another piece of my answer here. But then what I did was I actually broke down 2 Samuel chapter 24 verse 24, and I broke it down according to how it's broken down on the Blue Letter Bible. So I boxed everything in different colors, and then I wrote down the definitions and meanings of what it is, just to get more clarity of what everything is. Because, for example, right here it says unto Arana, and I believe that's how you say it, and it's the Hebrew Strong's number 728, and it means I shall shout for joy, make ye to shine joyful shouting of Jah and Jebusite, who sold David to the site for an altar. And it had some references, 2 Samuel 24:16 and 2 Samuel 24:18. So I always like defining things just so I can get a better understanding of what it meant in that time, because I would have thought it was a person. It says, and the king said unto Arana, so I would have thought that was a person, but that definition is something totally different. So it just gives you a more of an insight. So that is how I broke it down. So that is pretty much how I do all my annotating. I go for some that it could be too much, and that's okay. Some people don't like writing in their books. Some people don't feel like they should write notes. But, you know, everybody has their own preference. For me, I like, you know, writing in my books. I like going more in depth. You know, I like getting as much out of my books that I can. And then, of course, you know, when you have discussions with everybody else, you know, it just gives you, you know, a bigger insight. And I guess to me, more to conversate about when discussing with others. So I hope you guys enjoyed how I annotate. I apologize for the late second part of the first part of annotating. So if you have any questions or anything like that, leave your comments below. Let me know. I will highlight the book as I complete each chapter and show questions and things like that. But if you are a part of the Facebook group and would like a copy of the questions, if you have the book, because I know some books come with just the 10 chapters and not the journal and study guide, just let me know and I will get them to you as quickly as I can. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed how I annotate and take notes. Again, if you have any other ideas or any other things that maybe you would want me to try out and see if I like it, let me know. I'm always open to ideas. Again, this is just a way that I like to do my books and annotate in my books. So if nothing else, you guys have a great morning and enjoy your day. Thank you for joining me on how I annotate and answer my questions and things like that, and write everything down, so when I have book discussions and do book reviews, everything is in one area for me. So bye. Thank you for joining me for the second part of how I annotate my books and take notes Cornell style. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them below and I will respond to them as quickly as possible. Until next time, have a great day. Thank you.